Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Allison McKenzie, and I am the chair of the Historic Conservation Board. I would like to take a minute to remind everyone about the rules of this proceeding. This proceeding is at all times governed by the rules of procedure adopted by the board on September 26, 2011, amended March 23rd, 2015, last amended March 9th, 2020. A copy of the rules of procedure is available for review online. All those planning to testify today, which does not include those solely making arguments, such as attorneys, should stand and take an oath administered by the board's attorney. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. As such, the board reserves the right to deliberate in private. The Ohio Rules of Evidence do not apply to this hearing. However, professional rules of conduct do apply, and candor to the tribunal is required. The board members are citizen volunteers and are not paid for their service. They are treated as public officials under Ohio law. Any attempt to influence them, including but not limited to bribery, intimidation, retaliation, which may include contacting their employer in an attempt to exert influence, is punishable as a crime. All should be aware that this meeting is being recorded. Therefore, please speak clearly into your microphone and state your name and address for the record. In the event of any technical difficulties with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. All participants providing testimony must have both camera and audio features turned on in order to participate. With that said, let's proceed with the first item. Mr. Owen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe item 1 is a consent item for 118 Finley Street.
Yes. Does anyone wish to move this item from the consent agenda to the discussion items? Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'll move that we approve the zoning relief, the numerical variance for this case with notes according to staff.
Second that.
Thank you. I will call the roll. Mr. Zalasko?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman?
Aye.
Mr. Voss?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Congratulations. Looks like you are good to move forward. Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 2.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 2 is an application for a certificate of appropriateness for 1808 Central Parkway. The property is located in the Over the Rhine Historic District, and it is a existing non-contributing building on the western edge of the district. So the applicant is converting the existing building into a daycare center use. And as part of that conversion, they are making some alterations to the exterior of the building. So you can see the property at the black box showing its location on the western edge of the district along Central Parkway. And this is the existing elevation at the bottom that shows the unsympathetic alterations that were made in the past to this building that qualifies it as a non-contributing building. So the applicant is proposing as part of the daycare use to provide a new overhead transparent door in place of the 2 small window openings on that front elevation. This would allow for that opening to be opened so that fresh air and light get into the space in this in the play area that's located just beyond this door on the interior. Being a non-contributing building, staff feels that this is not an unsympathetic change to the existing architecture of the building. By providing the door, they are aligning it at the same height of the existing openings along that facade. They're removing 1 window and will be infilling another in order to install that door. And then on the rear elevation of the building, there is kind of a hodgepodge of different replacement windows and fill material that has been put into those existing openings. And the applicant is proposing to replace certain of those openings with new aluminum storefront style windows in those elevations. So again, being a non-contributing building in the district, staff feels that it does overall comply with the non-contributing building conservation guidelines that is outlined in those guidelines. And staff would recommend approval of the certificate of appropriateness for 1808 Central Parkway, including any revisions submitted for permit, subject to staff review and approval with the condition that the building permit must be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the COA shall expire.
Thank you. It does look like we have an owner or an applicant signed up. Sorry, too many windows open. Struggling a bit today. Apologies for that. With the applicant, Ms. Davis, would you like to add anything to what staff has reported to us? If so, we'll need to get you sworn in.
I think it was comprehensive. We were just looking to add a play space there, and the opening would provide us with additional lighting and fresh air in that area.
Mr. Sturkey, would you like to?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry. Ms. Davis, we will have to swear you in if you'd like the board to consider any of your testimony, including your past statements.
Oh,
Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony that you shall give and have already given is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So I was just saying that I agree with what Mr. Owen said, that we are just looking to add that so that we can have additional light, air, and circulation in our play space in our childcare facility.
Thank you. I believe we also have the designer here. Is there anything that you would like to add to this case? If so, we will get you sworn in.
Yes, please.
If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What would you like to add?
The only thing everything that Doug said and Gary said, I'm in agreement with. We are putting a guardrail on the inside of the garage door. So just so everybody's clear, the kids can't run out into Central Parkway. So while we'll get the fresh air, we'll get all the light. We're not in any way endangering the children, safety. They're still going to be in the building.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board for either the applicants or staff?
Actually, I do have a question. Is the on sheet A 2.3 north elevation proposed, is the window in the center, is that just an omission, or are you not replacing that window?
Let me see.
Like all around it, it looks like the windows are being replaced, but not that one, according to the drawing.
At A 2.3.
A 2.3, yeah.
I'm looking at.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the one in the center is in decent condition. The rest were not. And just to be clear, this is the alley side. This is not the street side here.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any additional comments for the applicant or staff? We do not have any members of the public signed up for this. If there are none, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness as laid out by staff.
Second.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Mr. Zalasko,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Mr. Voss,
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. Good luck with your project.
Good luck.
We can move on to item number 3 now.
Thank you. Do we need to stay on or do we jump off?
You're welcome to jump off if you'd like to.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Item 3 is an application for a certificate of appropriateness and zoning relief for the property at 345 Corporation Alley in the Over the Rhine Historic District. This is an application for renovation to the building and a rear deck addition. The deck does exceed the hillside maximum building envelope, so there is zoning relief required for the 4.5-foot rear yard setback, which is short of the average rear yard setback of 16 feet. This project was before the board once before. Back in 2017, the same plans were approved by the board. However, that work was not completed through the permit process, and that approval did expire. It should be noted that the building under the previous owner did conduct work on the building that in part matched the plans, but in part did not. So there were substantial deviations from the approved plans that the owner did without building permits. So the property is under new ownership now, and the current owner would like to revert to the plans that were originally approved and which have also been submitted as part of this application. So it is the owner's intention to remove the work that has already been done to the building that did not comply with the previous approval. So you can see the location of the building along Corporation Alley. And
Mr. Owen, do you think you're sharing your screen?
yes, I do. Sorry. Okay, try this again. Okay. Sorry about that. So yes, here is the map. You can see the property along Corporation Alley, just behind Liberty Hill. And this is the proposed site plan showing the new deck extending off the rear of the building, being within about 4.5 feet of the rear property line. So that is the area that requires the zoning relief. And there are some existing pictures showing the work that was previously done. You can see there is a historic window opening at this location. The previous owner did cover that with siding, but the window opening does remain on the interior. So the applicant does intend to remove the siding that is in that window location and install a new historically appropriate window. And then on the rear of the building, you can see that that deck was built. It is not done in the same configuration that was approved by the board previously. It does extend across the entire length of the rear elevation, and it has the wood balustrade and railing rather than the cable rail system that was proposed. So the applicant does intend to remove the portions of this deck that do not meet the previous approval and reconstruct it according to these plans. So you can see the window is shown being replaced in that location, and the deck is shortened to what was previously approved in 2017. And it does have that cable metal railing system for the guardrail. And then finally, another rendering here. There are new window openings that are proposed on this rear elevation. So much like in 2017, staff does feel that, again, this proposal does meet the conservation guidelines. The new window openings and the new deck are all on the rear of the property and will not be visible from Corporation Alley, and will not be visible by any significant means from the south from Liberty Hill. So staff does still feel that this is an appropriate treatment to this building. It is very small in its size, so adding the outdoor deck will provide that additional outdoor living space for this dwelling. So with that being said, staff recommends the board take the following actions based on plans by Kepis Architecture dated 9/18/2023. Approve the hillside review request for a 4.5-foot rear yard setback short of the hillside average minimum rear yard setback of 16 feet with the following condition: that the variances for the proposed deck only, and any additional building or enclosures shall require additional review. And also approve the certificate of appropriateness for 435 Corporation Alley with the condition that the building permits must be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the COA shall expire.
Owen, it looks like we do have an applicant with us today. If you would like to add anything, please unmute and we'll get you sworn in.
Would that be me? I'm the
That would be
owner.
you.
Yep.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'm the owner. I don't have anything to add. Mr. Owen did a great job explaining the plan for the house. So basically I'm just gonna continue the renovation that the
Okay.
previous owner started.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions by the board from the for the applicant or staff? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance with the findings laid out by staff, and also to approve the certificate of appropriateness with the conditions and findings laid out by staff.
Second.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Mr. Zalasko,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Mr. Voss,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye as well. Looks like your motion has carried, so good luck with your project. Okay, moving on to item number 4.
Thank you very much. Can I drop off also?
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you everyone. Have a nice day.
You.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4 is an application for certificate of appropriateness and zoning relief for the property at 1810 Logan Street in the Over the Rhine Historic District. The applicant is proposing a new sign package for the existing parking garage that is currently under construction at that site. The signage under review, it consists of 2 projecting signs on the west elevation along Central Parkway. There is zoning relief that is related to the signage that includes a numerical variance to allow 2 projecting signs on the west elevation where 1 is permitted by right, and a dimensional variance for the size of the sign. The dimensional variance is for 39.5 square feet to allow a sign of 67.5 square feet where a 28 square foot sign is permitted. Also, the sign requires a dimensional variance for its height. So there's an 8-foot limit for projecting signs in this district, according to the zoning code, and the sign is proposed at 22.5 feet tall. So there's a dimensional variance of 14.5 feet required for the size of the sign itself. And then finally, there are 2 locational variances, one for each of those projecting signs for their height above grade, which in this district is limited to 20 feet. One sign will be 33 feet above grade at its top point, while the other sign will be 42 feet above grade. So let me share my screen this time. Okay, so you can see on the screen the location of the parking garage. The sign itself will be on that northwest corner along Central Parkway, which is along the access drive that will be used for vehicles to enter the parking garage. So it does serve as an effective wayfinding point to let motorists know that that's where they will need to turn in order to enter the garage. And you can see an image of the building under construction. And that sign will be located on this northern edge of that west elevation. And this signage is replacing a previous sign plan that was approved by the board, which had the Fenley Market garage in oversized lettering along the corner of the building. That is no longer part of the plan, and they are replacing the signage with the proposed projecting signs. So again, you can see the map showing the garage and the location of that signage. And in the streetscape, you can see the 2 signs here, the larger parking sign at the bottom with the smaller circular P parking sign just above that. And you have a rendering of what that will look like. The signs will not be internally illuminated, but they will be backlit with halo lighting and standoff letters, which has generally been an appropriate treatment for signs in the district that will allow illumination that will not include internally illuminated cabinets or letter signs. And just below the Finley Garage sign, there is an additional instructional sign that will note how many spaces are available remaining in the garage. So staff does feel that the zoning relief that is requested is appropriate, being that this is located on the western edge of the district and along the busy thoroughfare of Central Parkway. Staff feels that larger signage than would typically be permitted is appropriate. While this is substantially larger than what we typically do permit, this building itself is at a much larger scale than is typically found in the district. And it also is a unique use, as it is the parking garage that will serve Finley Market and the surrounding area. So you can see in the rendering that the one larger sign lower on the building is closer to the street, and it will be partially screened by trees once the street trees are installed following construction. So staff feels that having the additional parking sign to draw that attention and let people know that that parking garage is coming up is appropriate in the interest of historic preservation, as well as for a property use standpoint. Same can be said of the height above grade. Adding that additional height above the 20-foot limit allows that greater sight lines as you're approaching the building, so motorists will be able to identify the parking garage and not have to miss their turn and have to come back at this from a different direction. So staff does feel that the zoning relief is appropriate. And from a COA standpoint, again, staff feels that this is substantially compliant with the guidelines, while projecting signs generally in the Upper Rhine Historic District are limited to 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet. This is a substantially larger sign. However, staff feels that because of its placement along that western edge of the district, it is the most appropriate place that a sign like this could be installed. It is much more appropriate along Central Parkway than it would be if it were on the southeastern corner or somewhere that is closer to that internal portion of the district, closer to the smaller scale development. So staff does feel that these are appropriate. It should be noted there are also some other large projecting signs in the vicinity around the Finley Market area. So this is not completely out of character for this part of the district. So with that being said, staff recommends the board take the following actions based on plans by D&K Architects dated 9/25/23. Approve the numerical variance to allow 2 projecting signs on the west elevation. Approve the dimensional variance of 39.5 square feet to allow a projecting sign of 67.5 square feet. Approve the dimensional variance of 14.5 feet to allow a projecting sign of 22.5 feet in height. Approve the locational variance to allow a projecting sign 33 feet above grade, and approve a locational variance to allow a projecting sign 42 feet above grade. Staff also recommends approval of the certificate of appropriateness for 1810 Logan Street, including any revisions submitted for permit subject to staff review and approval, with the condition that the building permits must be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the COA shall expire.
Owen, we do have 2 applicants signed up, Mr. Kirk and Mr. Green. Would either of you like to add anything? If so, please unmute and we will get you sworn in.
Yes, this is Tim Green. I'd like to just add a couple of comments.
Sure,
Okay.
Mr. Green, could you raise your right hand?
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What would you like to add?
I just want to thank you for that summary. I agree with everything that was said, and I just wanted to add a couple of things that this garage, we've spent a lot of effort, and the county has spent a lot of money to try to make it not look like a garage, which I think we've done a pretty good job at, and that is another reason that the sign size and location is, in my opinion, justified. Just to clarify, as people are driving down Central Parkway, that this is indeed a garage, and where to turn as well, because a lot of people coming here are going to Findlay Market. They would tend to want to turn down Elder. So the actual entrance to the garage is on the north side. So this draws them to that corner to actually know where to turn in. So that's all I had to add.
Mr. Kirk, would you like to add anything? Okay, are there any questions by the board for the applicants or staff? There are no members of the public signed up, so I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman,
I'd like,
go ahead, Tom.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both the zoning relief and the certificate of appropriateness as laid out by staff.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Yes. Aye.
and the chair
Yes.
votes aye as well. Your motion carries. Good luck. I don't believe we have anything else on the agenda. Is that correct?
We
No.
do
COAs
staff
for the month.
COA approval.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
We're-
Also,
we've been-
after that, would like to provide a brief update on the hearing format for the HCB meetings.
Great. Well, we
All
will
right.
first go with the staff approvals. Did the board have any questions or comments for Mr. Owen?
So we can drop off, correct?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your holiday.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion on approval of the staff approvals.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll. Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, Mr. Sturkey.
Thank you. Yeah, if you all can just bear with me just a couple more minutes here, just wanted to provide an update. So we've put a lot of thought into the HCB hearing format. We've had several discussions with the city solicitor and with the administration, and we are proposing to move back to in-person hearings. The in-person hearings would begin January 8th, 2024, which is our first hearing of the new year. The proposal would require in-person participation for both board members and for the public. I know that there was some preference among some of you for a hybrid format that allowed for virtual participation, but as we ran through it and tested it, we found that although we do have some new technology in our hearing room, a lot of the issues and deficiencies with the Zoom meetings would carry over into that hybrid format. Planning Commission and Council are able to do some virtual participation well in a hybrid format, but they do theirs in council chambers. They have city cable, they have additional staff and resources that we just don't have. And even with those extra resources, they still run into some issues with virtual participation. So we believe that we'd still have a lot of those same difficulties, and in some ways it can be even clunkier to do a hybrid than go entirely Zoom. So that's some of our thinking behind that and our rationale. We really haven't received a lot of feedback from the public about Zoom meetings generally, but the majority of the feedback that we have received over the last couple of years has been complaints about the tech and issues with accessing the Zoom meetings. And so allowing virtual participation is something that we're going to continue to monitor and continue to work on. If there is a lot of pushback from the public about access, or if we find better ways to integrate virtual participation into these meetings, we are certainly going to stay open to that in the future and consider bringing it back if it's possible and workable. The approach will also be more consistent with our other administrative boards who have already gone back to completely in person, and it seems to have been working pretty well. We will, as always, encourage those that cannot attend hearings to submit testimony in writing for the board's consideration. We're still, I believe, going to have the ability to stream these hearings so that folks can watch them live from a remote location or watch them at a later date. We also have the pre-hearing conferences that are hosted by the Urban Conservator's Office. Those are going to those meetings are going to remain virtual and allow for virtual participation. And so a member of the public can offer, oral testimony or offer a position or provide testimony in that format virtually as well. So that's just another option for someone to participate and have their voice heard in these hearings without actually attending. Another change that hopefully is relatively minor from the past and the pre-COVID and pre-virtual hearings, the old in-person hearings, is that we would send out a courier service, if you all remember, that would deliver paper copies of all of the case materials. We are hoping to move away from that. We'd like to just send out digital case materials to everyone, and then we'll have printed out an agenda and a staff report, paper copies for folks when they actually arrive to the hearings. But we were hoping that board members that wanted to access the remainder of the case materials could bring in a laptop or some other device to view them electronically, or if there's a particular drawing or picture that you'd like to ask a question about or discuss, we can have Cassandra or Doug pull that picture up on the screen in the hearing room to talk about it. This will obviously save a lot of time, money, and paper. If it's not workable for anyone, just reach out to us or let us know, and we'll figure out a different solution for you all. But if you are able to bring in some device, I think that would be beneficial. I think everyone is familiar with the parking situation from before. John, maybe not. We are able to offer parking passes at the town center parking garage on Central Parkway, and so we can work on making sure that everyone has a current and active parking pass for that if they would like. That's pretty much it. We're looking forward to seeing everyone back in person again, utilizing some of the new technology that we have in the hearing rooms. I'm happy to answer any questions now, or if you have feedback or questions or concerns, you can reach out to me or Cassandra really at any time directly. Cassandra, did I miss anything, or did you want to add anything?
No, you summarized it perfectly.
Okay, great. All right. Anything from anyone on that?
I do have one question, David.
Sure.
So when Doug is going through the cases, will that not be projected on the screen like it was before, or it will be?
It will. Yes, it will.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, very, very much like the share screen situation now. He'll be able to project it on the big screen in the hearing rooms, and you'll all be able to go through it with him there.
Okay, because I usually print out, because I cannot read on the computer, so I print out, but I don't always print out the pictures. I just look at them as I'm reading through it. But as long as we will still have the diagrams and the pictures and things, that's great. Yay! Thank you.
Sure.
David, do you mind if I kind of give a quick overview of the upgrades in the hearing room? So
Sure.
Bob Zelasco is on the ZBA, so he has seen, some of the upgrades. Everything is the same. It's just improved technology. We have a new monitor on the wall. So it has better resolution. It is a little bit larger. So when plans and drawings are projected on the monitor, it's a better viewing. We do have a second monitor that's in the back of the room that is for the members of the public. There was a lot of complaints in the past that the members of the public couldn't see. So there's multiple screens. And then there's also an upgrade to the speakers. There's some echo canceling sound so that it's picking up the voices and actually projecting it. So there's a couple of different features that just kind of make the room a little bit more interactive, not only for the board members, but also the public.
Thank you. That's all we've got.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in person. I don't think I ever see anyone in person before. So
I'm looking forward to it all.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to triple remind everyone that it is in person for that January 8th day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good. If there's nothing else, we still need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Yeah, have a
Thanksgiving,
good
Happy
holiday.
Thanksgiving.
everybody.
Here, everybody.